Hi, this is Girum Zarg, and welcome back to my adventures of the Dragon of Icespire Peak. This is Session 10. We ended Session 9 at the Spellcaster's Manse, where we met Granick, who agreed to allow us to talk with Falcon in the hopes of negotiations and coming to an agreement to resolve their conflict. In the morning, Finn waked up and she used her, I guess it was a sending spell, that she was able to contact Falcon. And she tried to convince Falcon to allow the negotiations, but she could only send a message up to a few words. And the reply was very clear. Falcon had no desire to negotiate. So we ended up going back to Granick, expecting the half-orc to attack us. But he didn't. He agreed to allow us to go to Falcon's lodge and try to negotiate with Falcon in person. Falcon really had these terrible views about orcs and half-orcs. He regarded them as being less than humanoid. And he had such negative thoughts about them. He didn't think that they were intelligent enough to negotiate with. And when we got back to Falcon's lodge, he continued this way of thinking. He just resisted any thought of half-orcs and orcs being intelligent. And he was very stubborn. It took a lot of time. I even told him he was scared that the half-orc Granick would attack, and I said, how could he? He believes in Talus just like I do, and he didn't attack us. I have nothing to fear. And oh boy, he went on another rant about how terrible Talus is. What's wrong with this guy? I thought remember, right back, he saved us against the orcs. And now he's having all these terrible things to say. I don't know what to think about Falcon. But he eventually, I think it was Faen, had him agree to at least see Granick. But he had lots of conditions. Only Granick could come by himself. And oh boy, he's just so stubborn. And I don't trust him very much. So we discussed, our party discussed in private, that we would, I guess, even Jorgras doesn't trust the half-orcs or the orcs. And I have to admit that these views are racist. When you're deciding to judge an entire race, either negatively based on how they look or what a few of them have done, I think that qualifies as racism. And it made me worry too, because I'm a goblin. And I remember when we started this adventure, I remember how uncomfortable I was going to Fandalin. I even had to learn the disguise self spell, and I would change my appearance. After a while, when my group started to accept me, remember, they almost sold me. Even though they say it was a joke, it sure didn't feel like a joke. They've treated me differently, and I think I wish they would treat the half-orcs and orcs differently. But these views are often hard to change, and it's sad because I think there's a lot of good in different races, and we have to remember that. Even Clover, even the Tiefling, and I know that I've had my negative views of Tieflings, but even Tieflings have good in them. And so we agreed, our party did, that when Granick and Falcon negotiated, if one of them attacked, whoever it was, if Granick attacked Falcon or Falcon attacked Granick, we would help the defender. So Granick came, and once again, Falcon kept the negotiations going. He delayed them. He used every tactic. Initially, we were trying to agree on just having people be at peace, away from each other. But Falcon said that he would hold Granick and the half-orcs responsible if anyone attacked. How can you do that? How can the half-orc be responsible for anybody attacking? And we asked him, how could he as Falcon be responsible for if dwarfs or halflings decided to attack, or the town of Fandalen, or the lodgers? And eventually, grudgingly, Falcon agreed that was unreasonable, but he kept at it, and he wanted half-orcs, Granick, to be responsible for the mountain orcs. The mountain orcs, if you recall, they were the ones that attacked the lodgers' camp, and they've been forced out of their home in the mountain by the dragon, and so half orcs, they're not even trusted by orcs. Orcs discriminate against half orcs. So how could Granick, a half orc, be held responsible for what the orcs do? So, grudgingly again, Falcon conceded. And Granick pointed out that this is his home. And the forest, when it's being lodged, when it's being destroyed, that's his home. He needs to defend his home. And Falcon countered that his home is Falcon's lodge, and he wants to expand it as his family grows. And he needs to lodge, and this is his way of living. So Faen, who was leading the negotiations and did a marvelous job, I might add, again got them to agree, got Falcon. It was Falcon that wasn't agreeing. Granick was willing to agree to anything that he could within his control. But he got Falcon to agree that for every tree that he and the lodgers cut down, they're to plant 2 trees. And at first, Falcon even resisted this. But it became very clear that what Falcon wanted, Falcon was greedy. And what he wanted money. He wanted to make a profit. And he wanted to grow his mansion, his lodge. He wanted to make it as big as possible. It was a show of the money he had. And so when Faen pointed out that, hey, if you replace every tree that you cut down with 2 trees, you're potentially increasing your income. And even Clover pointed that out. Finally, Falcon agreed. So greedy. Oh my gosh. And we've learned later, after the negotiations, Clover pointed out that she was ready to attack Falcon. Thank goodness, because if she didn't, after a while I know I would have. I have enough of this Falcon. So as we were about to go to sleep, we realized we still had to locate this dragon. And we still had to fight him. And our last encounter with him didn't go so well. We were able to shoo it off. But what if it stuck around? So we nervously discussed our strategy. Finally, we were discussing strategy. This is the first time when we attack, we really decide what to do or discuss what to do. And we realized that strategy of not discussing is not going to work against this dragon. So we realized that our first step is to locate where this dragon of Icespire Peak is. Maybe the name. The dragon of Icespire Peak. Maybe we need to look for Icespire Peak. Maybe that's where this dragon resides. Anyways, we went to sleep. I know I tossed and turned, and I'm pretty sure the others did, but when we woke up, we felt much stronger, and hopefully that will allow us to make the difference. But we'll see. Join me next time as we search for this dragon of Icespire Peak, and hopefully I survive to tell my tale and continue my adventures. Take care. Bye.